the reason I wanted you to record this one here is just for the simple fact that this is some shit that we, not just me and you, but there's just other homies out here who really need to know that they ain't the only ones who think about this shit. They ain't the only ones who go through this shit. They not the only ones who wish that there was some shit out here that they could fall through on. Because there are just so many ways that we know that, or things that we know that the fellas need. Like this spot, for instance. And we're not going to go into detail about none of this. This is just one of them things that me and you have sat around and talked about. The spot, for instance. The fellas need the spot. You know, you got that one whom you parlay with, that you know what I'm saying, you sit around and you chill with. You know what I'm saying? We spoke on this earlier, but on a different level. We spoke on this before as to the point of you need that peace of mind.
Yeah.
That side chick. But this ain't even a side chick. She ain't a side chick. Why? Because she doing her own thing. You doing yours. She ain't gonna interrupt shit that you doing. And she don't expect for you to interrupt shit that she doing. She will hit you up to see what you want and see if you got some free time.
Yeah.
To come visit with her. Even if that visit only contains a drink or two. If you smoke, a blunt. And you know you're going to get some good before you leave out the crib. The thing of it is how many fellas out there know for a fact that there's one out there for them right now?
How you spell bourbon?
Hmm?
How you spell bourbon?
Bourbon. I believe. If I'm wrong, it's only because I've been drinking so much.
Yeah, I'm tipsy. I got Deion Sanders dance.
I think but I believe it might actually be Bourbon.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, like I said, every brother, I ain't gonna even just say brother, every white dude, every Mexican, every Hispanic, every Puerto Rican, if you're of gender, everybody has one that's out there right now. Like that. Because I bet you even money, that one right there, finna go to the store for her man. Bullshit ain't nothing. Go home, Scott. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, And the thing about it is with the spot has got to be anonymous, bro.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know.
See, but that,
It's got to be.
yeah. 'Cause I was talking to your big brother called me earlier.
Oh, okay.
He called me earlier. He gave me some encouragement as far as dealing with mom's situation.
Yeah. I got to hit him up.
And like I said, I gave him encouragement and shit. He gave me encouragement, and I gave him some as well. And like I said, like I was trying to tell him, before the time was up, that man, look, man, cat out here trying to do things, man, to where, give y'all a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. That's what I'm working on. That's what we are working on, trying to give cats a fresh start to where they ain't got to go back to old habits.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for one, in this situation, he considered triple OG.
Yeah.
If not double, triple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For one, you're too old to be doing what you're doing and in the same result. But he made sense in what he said in a few instances, which I understand. As a man, whether you live in, no matter where you live in, as a man, you're going to do what you got to do to provide for, excuse me, you're going to do what you need to do to provide for home.
Yes, all the time.
No matter the cost, you're going to do. That's if you are a man. No color or creed. If you are a man, you're going to do whatever it takes to provide for your family. And I understood what he said. And he gave it to me, the situation that he's in. He broke it down to me. He was like, little bruh, even though old girl said we are straight, as a man, he didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he got laid off from his 9 to 5 and things wasn't going right after that.
Mm-hmm.
And to provide for the house.
Yeah.
Not just the house, your home.
See, that's how a man thinks.
He felt a certain way. And from what my take, he felt if he didn't provide, he felt less of a man.
Very true.
So he did what he had to do, which I understand. Which I truly understand. Yeah. Am I mad that he did what he did? Yes. But do I understand? Yes. Yes. Because no matter the cost, he felt as a man he had to provide for, at the time, his family. Whether it be his girl whom he dealing with, or whomever dealing with, who you dealing with, whether you living with a female or not.
True.
But if you got a pair of drawers, a pair of shoes, a change of clothes at that woman's house, you damn near pretty much staying there.
If you got that much at that house, you are staying there.
So
kick the fuck in.
So I understand what he was saying. Like we were speaking on earlier, bringing something to the table.
Exactly.
And he felt that even though Big Sis, rest her soul, is no longer with us, she said we were straight. He's in his mind. He said we ain't good because I'm not good. I'm no good to you, sitting up living off you. And by being, and I'm knowing his nature, he ain't gonna sit right just sitting still without having his hand in something.
True.
So he did what he had to do. And what he did, you know, he got to deal with the consequences. No matter what we do in life, whether the decision is good or bad, we got to deal with the consequences, be accountable for the things that we do. Be accountable for the things you say. Be accountable for your actions. Be responsible for whatever the situation is.
Very true.
You know.
Very true.
What led me that within saying, you know, not speaking on him, speaking on myself, which led me to 17 years, sitting 17. At the age of 20, turning 21, I had to be accountable for my actions. Everything that I have done, I became accountable for my actions. I had to take self-responsibility.
True.
Yeah, in the beginning, I blamed everybody else. Oh, if such wouldn't have snitched, if such wouldn't have got on and became Lufa, I wouldn't have been doing this. If everybody wouldn't have did this, if everybody wouldn't have did that, I blamed everybody else.
Except for oneself.
But 1996, 97, 96, got moved to the single cell and looked at the man in the mirror, which was myself.
Mm-hmm.
Myself was the one to blame.
But most people don't see it that way.
You know, which was crazy. I ain't gonna say it was crazy, which it became a reality check. You know, I say I'm a realist. I look at things in real time. I had to look. I looked at dude. I was going to get myself ready for school. I looked at dude in the mirror and said I didn't like him.
I mean, that's true shit though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes you got to. You know what I'm saying? It just falls like that.
I didn't like dude because, for one, you know, I thought I looked like my daddy, just a light skinned version, but I didn't like dude because I was not that same dude that I thought I was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This dude was someone putting on the image.
Okay, yeah, pretending to be somebody that he wasn't.
I was like, man, you ain't dude. You ain't this. You ain't this.
You. This ain't
right.
You. Stop fronting.
So what I did, I stripped myself, not of my clothing, but I stripped myself.
The persona that you thought you was.
I stripped myself emotionally, mentally. I was working on my physical, get my sexy body, but I stripped myself, and I've built myself back up. And what I mean by that, I built myself back up mentally. I built myself back up emotionally. I built myself up spiritually. I built myself up physically.
Gotcha.
And the underlying person became who I am today, which I was always was. But I just had an extra persona on me. We all have alter egos.
Yeah. Most definitely.
We all have alter egos.
Most definitely.
Some may not recognize.
A lot don't recognize that shit.
Some may not recognize that ego. But I recognized all of mine. I recognize my government, which is Maurice. I recognize Ramon. I recognize Smoke. I recognize Mo. I recognize, I ain't gonna tell you who he is. I ain't gonna recognize, and I recognize the other 2 and 3.
I figure, because I recognize the government of Thaddeus. I recognize the government of Fitz. I recognize the hood of 800. I recognize the hood of Polo. I recognize a couple of other motherfuckers, but I ain't gonna tell y'all who they is, because if I had to, I'm gonna kill you.
Right, but I recognize those.
Exactly.
I recognize those, and even today, I even check myself.
You got to.
I recognize. I dot the dough. Before I dot the dough, I check myself.
Got to.
Sometimes I don't.
Check ego at the door.
Cause when I was sitting in prison, right? There's no guns.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing you have is your word.
Balls in your word.
Your balls, your word, in your hands. And if you crafty enough, a makeshift weapon, a shank sword or whatever. But those are the main 2 things that I had to recognize, because at the age of 20, 21, from 21 to 37, 20 to 37, I grew up in prison.
Okay.
I grew up. That's where I grew up at. From a day old to 20, I grew up in the streets.
Okay.
Not necessarily in the streets, but
I
grew up a product of my environment.
Same shit.
In the urban area, with the government label urban area, in which today they call the ghetto. But that's where I grew up at. Where I became a man. I became a man in prison. Sad to say, but it's true. That's why I became a man.
It is what it is.
Most become a man, most become something else. But most don't, because, not to bounce around or deter from what I'm saying, when I came in 1994, when I went in 1994, I met a lot of the homies.
Okay.
Shit, there was plenty of them.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Ooh, it was plenty of them. But I met other individuals as well. So, in 94, I began my journey. And the last letter I wrote my mother before I left the county, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. She still got this letter to this day. If you ask her to show her this, ask you next time we go over there, ask her to show you this letter. She got the letter. And I said, Mama, I love you. You did the best that you can. And I could be, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words I wrote or everything that I wrote in it. But I told her I love her. She did the best that she could do for me.
Mm-hmm.
She installed morals, and she installed morals. But the things that I have done became of my own decision, not because of yours.
Mm-hmm.
You did what you could for me. It's time for me to lead a nest.
Stand on my own too.
And stand on my own too.
But see, that's one of those things right there that most, I'm not going to say young adults, I'm going to say it like this. That's one of those things that most individuals, be you young, be you middle, be you older, can't even understand yet. Because they fail to realize that it's not somebody else's fault for what they actually did or the circumstances that have gotten them to where they are now.
Yeah.
It is their own decision that has put them where they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what it is. But you got so many cats out there right now who don't seem to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping myself that if any of them hear this right now, they'll go, damn, I've been missing this whole fucking thing all this time.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else's fault for where I am. It is my own fault. It is my own choices and the choices that I made that put me in the position that I am right now.
Because, it was funny, and it goes back to an old Richard Pryor saying at the one before the one that ended his jokes. He say, he understand the white man. That's why he know the white man. That's why he's in the position he's in today.
Mm-hmm.
And, I sat down and analyzed the whole situation. Yeah, it's a joke, but it's truth.
It's truth, of course. But see, most people only take it as the joke part of it all.
Yeah. Because the story is the junkie and the wino.
Mm-hmm.
You go, hey, Pop, let me get a few dollars. Or something of that nature. You got anything you want me to do? He was like, yeah, I got something for you to do. Get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I had a job. I worked 5 years in a row when I was in the joint, pressing them motherfucking license plates.
Yes, sir.
So then, he paused. Damn, was I finished? Then he go say, I went down to the unemployment bureau. Ugly bitch sitting behind the desk. He said, bitch, I seen better faces on iodine bottles.
I was gonna try to cut you off before then, but for those of you who don't know what the brr, brr, brr is, the brr, brr, brr is the bureau. Motherfuckers, for y'all who don't know.
Unemployment building.
There you go, the unemployment building or the unemployment bureau. Let's keep that shit real.
So, then he go on to say, then he met this chick, He's like, man, Pop, this bitch is so fine. I suck her daddy's dick. See,
that was if
if you listen to the whole thing, and not just take that one part. You know, because I done seen many people say, oh, you know, damn, that motherfucker about the third time that motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
That I done seen. But, you know, if someone listened to it and just take that part, oh, he's on some old suspect ass shit.
True.
But, you know, that was a script old players used to use back in the day. You know,
I don't know that.
You know, everything, you know, that goes back to everybody saying, you know, thinking such and such or whatever is suspect. But if you listen to Richard Pryor, he done told you he was a trisexual, pretty much. You know, he had to.
Don't listen though.
He had to do what he had to do to get to where he was at. He done slept with punks. He done slept with women.
Dykes.
He done slept with them all.
There you go. But
You
they
know,
don't listen.
But it is what it was. That was with him.
Yes.
But I'm speaking on me. You know, but going back to, you know, damn, I lost my train of thought. But anyway.
Kind of glad you did. No, I ain't.
No, but back to what I was saying though, you know. We as black men.
Pause.
Well,